Texas Tech Red Raiders. Ooh, maybe it's time that we get a theme song, Shelby.
Oh,
And
okay.
that is maybe it. Dropping heat. It's seeing
Yeah.
Scarlet. This is Sibby. I'm joined here with Shelby. And welcome to another episode. Super stoked, as usual. We got lots to cover. And it starts with a little bit of March Madness, and we're coming to a close. It is a close. It's done, and we'll review a little bit of that hype because that is so worth talking about. Knowing that we do talk about all things Texas Tech sports related. That, my friends, holy, what a season! What a monumental.
Just a cool time to be alive, y'all.
Yeah,
Cool time to be
it's like
alive.
a really. It's so nice getting to see the really stark difference. Like, you remember when Sedona was posting that photo on
Oh my god.
Instagram 2 years ago
The
and
change.
of the weight room. So we've come a long way. So it'll
Yeah.
be cool to celebrate that. And then, yeah, we'll shift into softball, baseball, full swing, y'all. Good
Ooh.
things happening. We got highs and lows to talk about, but some celebrations there. We got some updates with basketball because I'm learning, even though the season's over, I feel like March Madness, like the madness is still here. So
Portal Madness
Portal
follows March
Madness.
Madness.
Um, yeah, excited to talk about that. And then we got some news about soccer. A lot of news currently right now. The women's national team, the U.S. women's national team, is playing Canada, which Janine Becky is over there on the Canada side, and she's a Red Raider. So if you
What's going
aren't
on?
watching this, go watch that.
Oh,
And
fair.
but don't go watch that.
Or
And then we
watch
got
both.
do it at the same time. Maybe what
And
I'm doing. Don't know.
and you got a lot to multitask. I'm just telling you because these notifications are still coming in, and
Shut up, dude.
Sibby played a little game on herself on Twitter. Go to Sibby's personal Twitter, and she's gonna be playing that game
I'm trying to
throughout
get the
this episode.
engagement.
And you're getting the engagement, so warning, check it out. So those that are playing along with Sibby's Word Watch game
Oh
that
my
she started
god.
on Twitter,
Did
open
I
your
put a cap
ears.
on it?
It's going. It's still going. She'll be doing that. But y'all
No
keep
sweat.
having fun. So
Easy. Y'all won't even
yeah.
notice. It's gonna be that smooth. They're gonna be like, "Whoa, did she even
Whoa.
say it? Oh, I didn't even notice."
Yeah.
Anyway, along with that, we got some news about track and volleyball, tennis, golf, all the normal stuff when we're reporting to you, y'all, everything that we possibly can. And in addition to all those topics, you can find out so much more on our website, seeing-scarlet.com. That's been a really fun thing to contribute to and really exciting for us. So make sure you go swing by there. Shelby just dropped some heat. I'm sure you'll reference it quite a bit when we talk about softball, which is, I think, where we're going to kick things off. No, wait, March Madness. What do you have to say about March Madness, Shelby?
It was a good time, both on the men's and the women's side. I thought, kind of as we predicted, I thought the women's had better storylines going into the tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and it turned out that way. But in a similar side, both number one overall seeds won, so both were dominant
Right?
throughout with South Carolina and UConn on the men's side. I mean, that's one of the more dominant runs, especially in recent memory for men's basketball. Is bravo with
Mm-hmm.
them, and they're not done. They'll see what they can go three-peat next year, which would be wild. But yeah, so the men's one was fun. Just what Don Staley in South Carolina did this year. I get it.
Dude.
I get that they're dominant and they get all the top talent that she wants and all that. I get that, but that's not how it used to be. She took that program over 7 years ago and it was not doing this. She rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a blue blood that she took over. She's built
Mm-hmm.
this program from the ground up, and
Culture.
they had 5 players get drafted off of their team last year that lost in the Final Four, and everyone, people thought they'd be good this year. They're still going to be good,
But
obviously, but
not
people didn't think, weren't
expect
like, yeah, they're
them.
going to win the national championship. Not everybody. I mean, they wouldn't. No one's shocked that they did, but it's still impressive for them to go undefeated with so many freshmen on the team to get it done. So it was really good. And then obviously the Caitlin Clark, what she's done for the game, bravo
Right?
her. Like, she really has put this on a new level. Sedona Prince is a part of that
Mm-hmm.
conversation too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Caitlin Clark existed 2 years ago when that picture was
Mm-hmm.
out there. So Sedona Prince, I know she's on a rival team of ours in this league, but she deserves a lot of credit for starting this movement and forcing people to
Yo.
notice. And then the stars of the game came out, and 18.3 million, y'all. I mean,
Yeah.
I want a shirt that says 18.3 million. because the people that there's
People who
gonna
get it, get it.
people will get it, and and I hope it's as all sports fans. I can obviously only speak from the woman's perspective here, but like
Yeah.
for me, it's monumental. Like because it's even thinking about like this time last year with seeing Scarlett, we were just getting started and we were dealing with
Dude.
stupid trolls that were like, yeah, no one's gonna watch the women's game until they lower the rims. That was like every single conversation on our Twitter account for the first 2 months of our existence. It was
Yo.
different people every time we posted about, hey, why don't you go watch the Lady Raider games? They're like, yeah, cute, but we're not going to go watch women's basketball until they lower the rims. And we're like,
Mm-hmm.
you're missing out. This quality of
Okay.
this game is good. You're missing it. And they just didn't believe us. And now, and just the growth of this game, 9 million last year, 18.3 million, the most watched basketball game, men or women, in the last 5 years.
Wow.
For the first time in the history, the women's national championship had more viewers than the men's. Theirs came in at about 14 million last night, which is nothing to shake your head at. But the women had 18.3 million on a Sunday afternoon game. Just big stuff. And I get it, Caitlin Clark's moving on, but it's the storylines, it's the stars. There's players left over. I mean, we got our own stars we'll talk about in a minute, getting accolades for Lady Raiders, but there's big time stars in the women's game. I mean, I think Malaysia Fulawili for South Carolina has a way to change the game in the same way that Caitlin Clark did, but more on the flashy side, and bring that Allen Iverson flash that he did when he got to the NBA. Like, you're kind of seeing that slowly but surely growth into the game. But it's been happening forever, to be honest. It's been happening forever. It's just on a different stage now, and people think it's Caitlin Clark. And again, I'm not trying to I love Caitlin Clark. This is her. She carried that mantle well. Other people wouldn't have been able to handle it, perhaps. And she did it so well, and now she's passing it on. And there's so many stars, and it's the storylines, it's the stars. We've said that from the beginning. That's why we do our show the way we do it. That's why we cover stories. We give you game analysis, but we cover the stories because that's what gets people to watch. And for some reason, finally, major TV networks on the women's side have understood that in the last couple of years, and people love it or hate it. The rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, that got eyeballs on the game, right? Now next year it's going to be about, can UConn and Paige Beckers and AZ Fudd come back from injury, and can UConn get a rematch with South Carolina? Yeah. Can Juju go to the Big Ten and take over Caitlin's legacy? And now can she break the record? She's already on pace. She broke the freaking freshman scoring record. She's ahead of where Caitlin was after her freshman year. She's right on pace. Like, there's so many stars in this game, so I'm really excited, and it was just cool to see. It was a really proud moment, and you still see some haters out there, and that's discouraging. But there's more and more there's more and more silence now. There's people just not, like as talked about other comments, full circle. We don't get those comments on our page anymore. Either they've given up, or they're like, that I look stupid saying that now because 18.3 million people just watched this game. Obviously, they don't need to lower the rims. So that we don't get those comments anymore, and I can only imagine it's 9,000 times better for those programs and those athletes too. So it's cool where we are, and I'm excited to see that growth continue when it comes to Texas Tech especially, and then to get on that stage, because that's at the end of every year, men's and women's. I'm always like, man, that was fun, but there's a part of me that's like, damn.
Yeah.
I want that to be us so bad.
I know.
So bad. So I imagine the athletes are the same, and they were probably in that gym at like 5 a.m. yesterday on Monday morning, like wanting to be them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thoughts on it. It's really, really cool, and just fired up, and hopefully we can get back there sooner than later on the Texas Tech side.
Yeah, it's such an undeniable force at this point. I feel like that's why there is so much silence. It's because it's like, oh yeah, like once you get to know the storylines and they have that marketing and that just simply access to their games, like ESPN Plus has been so huge, and so being able to watch them has just created like that accessibility point of getting to know their stories, and it's just happening now, and it's been needed for so long. So I'm like so hyped that we get to see that, and so hyped that it's the persistent message is just love and celebration for like the sport and for your teammates. And I think with Dawn Staley too, her winning the national championship, having the coolest career that I think we, are so lucky to get to witness. And she's calling out Caitlin Clark by name and saying like, thank you for elevating this game.
Classy.
Like,
yeah,
because that's it. Like, it's a rising tide lifts all ships, and even though it's not directly where we want to see our Lady Raiders. It's like we know that it's there, and like when we can provide that support and just recognize that and celebrate their stories, celebrate their successes, and like leave all the like making them feel bad and that nobody's making them feel worse than themselves. And so I think it's cool to see that reflection of like success is that like we're leading with love and empathy and celebrating these stories. And also it's like been tough in women's sports, you know, for a lot of women on teams, and the treatment and things like that too. So to see a lot of that come to light and protections in a lot of different ways and mental health support, it's just like a really cool time to be alive. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm sure we could talk about that for literally ever. So let's move forward.
We've been spitballing, doing like a round table sometime. Maybe in the real off season, we'll get a round table of people on here and discuss and get some athletes on here to hear their perspective, because I'm sure it's even wilder for people that are actually in it.
Good call.
Their experiences. So we'll continue that conversation.
Okay, Shelby, I'm gonna take notes. She's generating ideas, y'all. But yeah, let's go ahead and
where are we going to shift over to? Maybe maybe the old softball diamond, shall we say?
I think the diamond for softball is a great place. You would say like diamond place because diamonds are the best. Yeah, so we're going to start with softball, and what an up and down journey we've been on. A lot of learning opportunities. And I'm trying to think when we last spoke to y'all and what they've had, but we'll get a recap there of where we have been, ups and downs. Shelby, tell us the news.
We'll start off with outside of the series at Baylor, we had some more accolades come out this past week. Riley Love still maintains her number 6 third baseman ranking in the country, and
so casual.
Wyckoff made her way onto the top 10 list for utility players in Softball America's April list. They put one out every month, basically, and updated every month, and that was the update. So we have 2 players on those lists this year. Very, very, very much deserved. They're mentioned in that article that's on our website that we put out today. Put just at the end of that article, it's just by the numbers, and both of them obviously are mentioned. So go read more about that. But bravo to Riley, senior, and Kaylee, sophomore, doing the damn thing. They keep doing it for this team, and they'll keep figuring it out. So love that for them.
Love that we've gotten the interview both of them.
That's
too.
True, yeah. You can also go listen to their interviews. Very insightful, and you understand why they go about their business the way they do. So softball's not an easy sport.
No.
And you go through slumps and all those things, but you got to have the right attitude for it. So
that's right.
So
it's good stuff.
So the Baylor series, it's an interesting one, right? Because 2 out of 3 games were very, very good softball, in my opinion. Coaches can have their own opinion. But Friday and Saturday, I thought were good softball all around. Friday was one of the best games they played all year. Definitely one of the best games as a fan to watch when you consider the opponent and the way it happened. It was back and forth. Mentally, we were locked in. Every pitch, we were locked in. Defensively, we were locked in. Pitching-wise, we were locked in. We had great at-bats. We were drawing walks. We were running the bases. We were stealing bases. We were doing all the things, and we came out with like a 4-3 victory, I believe, something like that in that first game over who Baylor was number 21 at the time in Waco. Number 1 strength of schedule team in the country. They've played all the people, right? They're battle-tested. And so we go in there and get that win. We'll show you the highlights. That was big, right?
Yeah.
And then Saturday, they throw Mimi Blackledge out there on the mound. Freshman, always only pitched 10 innings all year. That was a bit of a surprise, but I was like, all right, let's go. Seeing what we can do. And we'll show those highlights and talk more about that game. But she pitched a complete game. We dropped it late in the game, but she pitched really well considering. And for what she's great, even considering the circumstances, and saved all the rest of our pitchers was the important thing. So we lost that game, but this is where I got greedy, right? Because if you had told me before the series, hey, you're going to steal one from Baylor, steal it, call it whatever you want to, they're a great team, we're not. We beat Baylor. If you're going to get one win from the Baylor series in Waco, I would have said, all right, good job. I'll take that. Yeah. Build on that. Now you come home, you got to take care of business at home. However, when we won game 1 the way we did, and really, I mean, it was even. Yeah. It was not like playing out of our heads. It was 2 really good teams going at it. Saturday, right there with them with a freshman on the mound. Right there, tied it late, just couldn't hang on. And your whole pitching staff is basically set up for you to beat and win the series.
Win the series.
Baylor's already burned up their number one pitcher in theory. She ended up pitching some late innings, but she didn't start the Sunday game. And we had our top two pitchers on paper. Maddie Keel had not pitched yet in this series because Mimi went out there on Saturday, and you knew you'd have Maddie Wright available to close it out. And you're like, all right, now I'm greedy because I'm like, you put yourself in a good position to go win this series. Now go do the damn thing. If I'm keeping it 100, they didn't do the damn thing, and that's why I'm not going to nitpick it. I didn't watch the game. I only watched the first inning. I had plans that day. The national championship was on. I was out the door after the first inning, so
People are like, we need you.
Yeah, I'm not going to nitpick it because I didn't watch it outside the first inning. It was very sloppy. It didn't look like us Texas Tech softball. A lot of walks, an error. We gave up 3 runs in the first inning. I got home that night, looked at the box score. We fought back, it looked like, in the middle innings. I'm sure, I don't know if Civi might have gotten to watch, other people I'm sure watched, so you know more, but we fought back in the middle innings. This team always fights back in the middle innings, or the whole game. Love that. Yep. But it looked like in the box score, we scored 3 runs to get it 5-3, and that was like, must have been like, okay, cool, we're doing it. And then immediately we allowed 2 runs the next half inning.
It's and like, dang.
Yeah. And we haven't been able to get the shutdown inning all year. It's been kind of a problem for us. And to be frank, on Friday night it was as well until late. Like Baylor kept bouncing back against us, but we finally got it late. And it kind of bit us in the butt again on Sunday, it looked like, because Baylor scored in every inning. We had 3 total errors on the day. Our fielding percentage, we're 4th in the Big 12 in fielding percentage. That's just not who we are this year in a good way. Like we're better than that. So I don't know what it was. It happens. They're tired. It's either mental, it's physical, or it's mechanical. I'm going to leave that to them. They'll figure it out. But yeah, I was a little greedy. I wanted them to win that Sunday game. And they didn't get it done, but it's softball. It happens. They're competitors. It's not anything groundbreaking to say. They'll get it figured out, and they'll lock in and find a way to get focused as we head into the games. But that's kind of the hard truth of it, the keep it 100. And now we can hype them up with the fun from the highlights and stuff. But I think it's just because, like, I said this in that article. Go read it, because we got people asking, can they still make the postseason? And we'll talk more about that in a minute. But it's because of the seniors that I'm a little greedy, to be honest, because there's like 10 of them, and we know what they've been through, the ones that have been here since the beginning. And some of them have seen postseason play before as freshmen in 2019. The ones that are in their 5th year, some of them haven't seen it at all, but they chose to stick around in an age where everybody leaves. In an age where everybody leaves, and they had every right in the world to leave. Multiple pitching or multiple coaching changes for much of these seniors.
Real tough. Yeah.
And they chose to stay. And so as a fan, I appreciate that, and I want them to make the postseason, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But I think that's why I was greedy about Sunday. So I'm sure they were too. I'm sure they were a little greedy about Sunday too, and they didn't get it done. But Baylor's a really good team, so they made us pay, and I think it's just because it got away. If it was another 2-1 game, it wouldn't have been frustrating. But that also comes down to being realistic, and we don't have the pitching depth and all that things. And Sunday games have been hard for us all year, so it happens. But we'll get into the highlights. But Friday and Saturday were really good softball. Sunday, I didn't watch the full game, but it didn't seem
kind of
like
got away.
Great. Yeah, it did seem like clean softball, but it happens. Baylor's a good team, so we'll move on to this weekend for sure.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, like, perspective of the seniors and what this program has been through. And with Craig's, I keep calling him Craig, with Coach Snyder's first couple of years, it's really impressive. I know, it's like, we did interview him, and it's like, that is what's so relieving to me as a fan, and getting lucky enough to interview players and talk to coaches and do what we do, is seeing what they're saying to us and how they, are on social media, and like really identifying that culture and wanting it to be the best it can be, and seeing, like the players, I think, sticking around for that too, of knowing he has a plan for this program. So I'm hoping to see the end of their season pick up in that way too. But yeah, I'm with you on the Baylor perspective too. I didn't really think about that, of like winning a series against that Baylor team. Oof.
So it would have been nice, but
would have been nice.
It's not the end of the world. I mean, they still won a game. I'm just saying, like,
which is great. Yeah,
I was greedy because I mean, you more than played well enough to win that series. Like, you almost
Totally.
won game 2. And so I was a little greedy, and Sunday just got away. But that's the sport. Like, it happens. You just shake it
what
off
it
and
is.
move on to the next. So,
It is what
but
it
yeah,
is.
let's show some fun highlights from the Friday
So-
game. Again, if you haven't, for some reason, haven't seen this team play, I will legit be like, hey, go watch the Friday game. Go watch the highlights from Friday's game, because that was one of the better games that I've seen in college softball this year. I'm a little biased. It was just because it was back and forth, and
It was really good.
especially coming off of that UCF series where we kind of let some get away from us too, and a lot of that was mental, in my opinion, because of the stoppages. We talked all about that last week. Not gonna get into it again. But then this game had some stoppages, and had some stoppages and some other things, and Baylor just kept fighting back. Like, we got a lead, they tied it. We got a lead, they tied it. We got a lead, they tied it. And we just kept playing good defense and fighting back. So it was cool to see.
Yeah.
Off the glove of
Riley Love.
Pylon rolls into shallow right field.
Riley Love. Ugh. What a year.
First pitch ball 1-2 our next one.
Demi Elder forces an error.
Bounces away from Leah Cran. A run. Maddie Wright delivers. This one in the air.
Oh.
Got out of a bases loaded jam there. And
Huge.
it doesn't, for some reason, it's not in this highlight package, but don't worry, we'll show it after we get done. Right before that out, Riley Love had a crazy jumping up, like really high at third base play at third that would have been a double.
Why.
It would have been a double down the line, and Baylor would have taken the lead. And who knows if that changes the outcome of the entire game.
Yo, good call.
It's not in the highlight package, but I have it in here to show afterwards.
And they learned Humpty Dumpty, so they
Abby Orrick.
egg drop contest.
Oh, that's Maddie Wright, the pitcher.
Out.
I mean,
out of that beautiful ballpark.
Dear NASA, have y'all seen that? Where did it land?
Legend has it. We're still looking.
Legend has it. That softball is what caused the eclipse yesterday. It's still flying through the sun.
They knew. NASA knew.
Kaylee just keeps being Kaylee. Just really, she's seeing the ball so well right now.
Good for her in that too.
She leads the entire Big 12 in batting average during Big 12 play by a good margin.
Good for. Let's go.
Maddie Wright, dog.
Strike 3.
It's not always beautiful with her. She lets some base runners on, but she gets out of it, you know?
Yeah.
Especially in her Friday games. Sometimes on Sunday she runs out of gas, but she's been really solid in her Friday starts. Our outfield.
The outfield is top notch.
Vibes.
Yes.
Number to third, throw is coming home.
There's Logan. That's another moment right here. It's not the full moment is not in this highlight package. We're gonna show it afterwards, so just remember this. But that's the winning. That's the game-winning run right there, scored on a brilliant slide by a freshman. But how she got there, how she got to third, it's not in the highlight package. We'll show it in a minute. But this whole inning was Logan Holloman, and that was a great job.
She is such she's having a really monumental season.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with her. And then Reagan Jennings is a freshman.
Reagan Jennings too, dude, stacked.
And then Maddie just closes that out for us.
Let's go, girl. End it.
Demi runs it down. There was really good defense in our first two games. There might have been good defensive plays in the third one too, but the errors were there.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Easy money. Hype.
Let's go.
Reagan Jennings is so hype right here. Watch her. Even Kaylee's like, okay, freshman, calm down. Just game one, kid. Just game one.
Oh, look at those Red Raiders. Let's go.
Yeah, there's a good contingent of fans there. So good stuff there. We'll show the plays I talked about. This is
3-1.
This is the, again, first inning, bases loaded, only one out. You just scored a run. Baylor's already tied that. It's tied at, they've already come back. Like I said, we haven't been able to get that shutdown inning. And by shutdown inning, I mean when you score, come out there and shut them out the next inning. Something that's eluded us all year, really. And it did again here, but it could have been much worse. And I don't know how the game would have ended up if Riley Love doesn't make this play right here.
From Maddie Wright. Looped, caught by the third baseman. And quick to get back to the bag, but what a great grab by
Hops corner.
Do we get a slow-mo, please?
Yeah, here you go. Let me get up. Let
me get up. Spider gal.
Let me get up. Get up. Get up on him, Riley.
And
Hops.
I mean, she was, like you have to be so low and ready for anything in that position, but
Yeah, she's so calm out there. She doesn't ever seem
that's
to be
like
flustered.
that is so her. I mean, even when we interviewed her, of like you're talking about seniors having a fun season and laying it all on the line and doing so like having a chill time. It seems like I don't know. It's cool to see. It's very poetic.
She's one of them that I want it. She's had postseason experience because she got there as a freshman.
Yep.
But it's been a wild ride since then for her and her fellow.
She's seen
so.
some stuff.
Yeah, I want her to get there. And then on the other end of the spectrum, how about
let's do it.
A moment for a freshman. This is that future's bright. This is Logan Holloman. This was
Logan.
Her. We're tied at 3 in the 6th. What is I can't remember what to say. 4th, 5th inning, 6th inning. I don't know. Whatever. At some point, this is the game-winning run. This is the run that finally wins it. We've gone back and forth with Baylor. How do we get it? This is Logan with an out in the inning. She draws a really 5, 6, 7 pitch walk. Here.
Delivers.
Watches it low. Doesn't chase. 4. And then, let's go still second. Easy money.
Not
Ain't
even
gonna
close.
catch me. She's now.
She had time. She had time to have some teacups on second base She had time. That's how fast she was.
Easy.
Logan. The teacups would have been.
That'd have been great. Yeah, she's now 17 of 18 in stolen bases on the year and is in second in the Big 12 in stolen base percentage. She's tied for first for the amount of stolen bases, but yeah.
Is that strictly like how fast you are? Like,
I mean, yeah, you got, especially in softball, it's not very far to run / throw. Like, it's closer proximity, and then you also you can't leave until the ball leaves the pitcher's hand. Like in baseball, you can get these huge leads and anyway. So you got to be real fast. But there's also a science to it. It's not just speed. You got to know when to lead, and all these things. And for her to do that as a freshman, she's doing big stuff. But it's not over yet. It's not over yet. First, this is not in here, but speaking of freshmen, Reagan Jennings followed her with a really big double or a single. No, it was a double. I don't know. I'm making this up. At some point, somehow she gets to third. I'm pretty sure it was Reagan that drove her over to third, but we just didn't score off of it. But then she scores on the play y'all saw.
Oof.
Great slide.
Are you kidding me?
Plays at the plate can you have? Well,
she's so fast.
Fantastic slide by Holloman.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't know that anybody else on the team. Well, maybe like Gabby Rawls and our other pinch runners, but of our main people that are getting big playing time, our usual players. I don't know if anybody else scored. No one else scores on that.
Wow.
So shout out Logan. Big stuff from her.
Keep going. You're having a great season.
She really is just quietly doing the damn thing.
Right.
Which takes us in. Again, we won that game. You get game 1 on the road.
Huge.
Big stuff.
Let's go.
Great way to start it.
Yeah.
Come into Saturday, as I talked about, and we're kind of expecting to see Maddie Keel. That's been our game 2 starter all year. She had just pitched on Wednesday, though, so maybe they wanted to give her an extra day of rest. Or maybe they were looking at the probability of it and saying, hey, Baylor's pitching their number 1 today because we ran her out of the game on Friday so quickly. Riley Crandall, who's friends with Kaylee Wyckoff, if you remember from our interview, they're friends from high school, is Baylor's ace pitcher, one of the best pitchers in the Big 12. We did a great job against her on Friday to get out of the game early, but that meant she was saved innings-wise, and she just started the game on Saturday, and she ended up having a really good game, and maybe threw a complete game or went almost deep into it. But what I'm saying is perhaps we knew that, so we're going to save Keel for Sunday, give us the best chance to win. I don't know what the reasoning was. We threw old Mimi Blackledge out there on the frickin' field to start against a ranked team on the road, and she'd only had 10 innings all year. She did have 1 start early in the year, but she only threw an inning in that start, 1 or 2 innings. And so we throw her out there, and this is not in the highlights because this is a Texas Tech highlight package, so why would they put it in there? But the first batter of the game, right, 1 or 2 pitches into the game, she gives up a bomb. You'll notice that the score is 1-0 right now. It's in the first inning, and it's already 1-0. And then she gives up she hits a batter, or someone else gets on base, and you're like, oh no. Oh no. We're just
what does this mean for us?
Waving the white flag in this
we
game.
Will
and
see.
Ready for Sunday. And just the mental strength to be like,
kind,
that sucked, and then she gets out of it. So this is really a Mimi Blackledge / our defensive highlight reel. Had multiple great defensive plays and double plays. She's not so much a strikeout. Not so much a strikeout pitcher from what we've seen yet. Maybe she'll build into that. But she does a great job of letting her defense do the work. Like, I can't tell you
Okay.
how impressive it is that a freshman just gave up a bomb, makes a play,
Yeah.
and has the real turn around third second on that. Chill.
True.
Well, those one-run games come down to the smallest of things. There's a grounder to first. Barnhart. Bob.
I mean, the accolades
Let's go,
there, he
Barnhart.
definitely has proven to be an amazing coach for
Via,
our youth.
Pecan had been out for
Pecan.
2 games. She
Thank
had missed-
goodness you're back.
Yeah, she had missed 2 games, but she was back in this and got a double to start it off for her. So.
That's right. Lock it in.
Run it down.
Yeah.
Oh, look. Another double play.
Oh, I love those. That reach.
That's nice.
Shaylin Govan is just an amazing hitter. I mean, hands down.
Oh, let's go.
Good defense. It was just
That's
a clean.
nice.
It was really a clean game. Kaylee getting
She's
another
turning.
double.
She's turning. She's
Yeah.
going.
It was easy. I would say the only thing about this game that they probably, I mean, I would be interested to hear what they said it was our approach at the plate the best? Like, because we had a couple of innings where we led off with a double and didn't bring them around to score. So, but again, they had their ace on the mound, so she's just really good. But that's otherwise pitching, defensive wise, we had some solid at bats, but we weren't able to capitalize earlier in the game.
Yeah.
But it was still really good softball, clean softball.
Good.
First pitch. Blackledge delivers. So fly ball into right field. Elder is there. Makes from LSU.
Easy money.
This one hit into center field.
Not with Logan Holland.
Not with
out there.
Logan. You ain't getting nothing.
To the plate. The catcher sends this one into the gap.
I wouldn't be surprised if Logan somehow got that one.
Another leadoff double
Picks it up.
that we didn't do anything with, but
Dang.
not her fault.
4 hits on the day.
Good rip, though.
Kreitz had a great game.
Jolene fits right in.
That was a pretty solid swing, but kept it in play.
Let's go.
Rounder to third.
Oh, let's go. Turn and
It
burn,
was
baby.
such a great turn by Riley, and Reagan got taken out and still made that throw at second.
Wow.
Pitch grounded to second. Runs
Gets
it
Oh.
through. Casey West. One down. Runner at first is hot. This one hit into left field. On
Just a lot of defense in this game.
A
Just
lot of
lots
defense.
She
You weren't
just
kidding
puts-
about the
she-
highlight reel.
Blackledge puts it in play, and then this.
Is hit in the air to left field. That's carrying well, and we're
Look at
tied one.
Coach, let's go.
He's hype. He's hype. Like, that's so cool. Like,
That was huge.
uh,
Bottom of the 7th is no top
yeah,
of the
let's
7th.
go back. We're gonna watch it. Yeah, there it was top of the 7th, 1 out, down to 2 outs in the game, and your senior catcher, who's had a quietly good season again.
Quietly
Like,
good.
she's more known for her defense, but her bat has been really solid this year.
Mhm.
And she was nothing quiet about this swing that you're about to see. It's worth another look. Oh, I don't know what happened.
Now on ES
Did
just started.
something?
I did not.
No. That was
You got
weird.
it.
Runners into scoring position.
I don't know why it started over.
left field. That's carrying well, and
Boom!
we're tied
I
at
mean,
one.
it's at least the second row of cars, you know.
Yeah, someone needs a new windshield. So shout out Kennedy Kreitz on that.
Right, dude.
Yeah.
Send it.
And then we just couldn't get it done in
Yeah.
this last inning. We got down to 2 outs. I don't know why that keeps happening, but just trust us on this. That they might just not be showing it, but I guess our highlight packages are just very homer. They don't show when the other team scores. So we got 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, and then Baylor got a ground ball, which Blackledge had been doing a good job of getting ground balls all game, but this one was right up the middle. Good piece of hitting for them. That's the give and take you have with a pitcher if you're not one that's going to strike someone out when you let someone on base. There's a good chance they can get them around because they're just going to keep putting it in play. But this is not on her. She was brilliant this game. Just couldn't get that shutdown inning. It's a mental thing. She's going to grow from that and learn how to take
totally.
that same mentality out there. And then even, I mean, it wasn't like she was getting bombed. Like they just got a bunt sacrifice over, ball up the middle, and they scored. So really, really cool stuff from her in this.
And it's her first year, right? Like she's a freshman.
Yes,
So it's
she's
like
freshman,
a
and she
whole
doesn't
other
pitch a lot.
component of this of to have that mental game. That's what I like to see. Yeah, did it like that was a tough battle and
Yep.
and to see some of those shifts is what we want to see in a player like that. And knowing that she felt confident enough to tackle that and like the coaches and the team support in your first year, that's what's up. Good to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what softball had with Baylor. Do you have any other notes on Baylor?
No, I think that, I mean, we kind of covered it in the beginning. Really solid. Listen, I would have taken, we said last week, go down to Baylor and steal a game. That was my hope. I know they had bigger dreams for that, and they certainly had bigger dreams for that when they more than
They
put
made you
themselves in a
proud.
position. They more than put themselves in a position to win that series. They just
Mhm.
couldn't quite that last thing. And that's part of building the program. That's part of where we are. That it doesn't happen overnight. So they'll get there, but solid stuff
Sometimes,
overall.
yeah.
Some really, it's wild to say, like you lost the series, but man, we really played good softball for 2 of those games, and Blackledge got the loss on Saturday, but she did her job. She put us in that position to win on Sunday, and we just couldn't get it done for her. But shout out her, shout out Kreitz. Oh, I didn't mention her. Dee McClarity had a big walk in game 1 as well to draw to get an RBI. Just a lot of different performers that stepped up and got through it. So good stuff for them.
Yeah, it's like you just get the potatoes and the bacon and somebody forgets the waffles, and sometimes in life you gotta get the waffles and
can't forget the waffles.
Hopefully we can get some of that when we have Kansas for a 3-game series coming up April 12th, 13th, 14th. 3 times for y'all to see the Red Raiders. Oh, waffles. Bark. Meow, bark.
He's helping you promote the games this weekend. There's Meow at the park on Friday, which is brilliant, but it's also Taylor Swift night / bring your
Hold
cat
up. Are
to the
they going to
ballpark.
allow cats in the...
I guess so. I've never seen that before, but it's Taylor
I'm so
Swift
jealous.
night. Is Taylor Swift a cat person?
Yeah, dude. Of course she's a cat. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not a...
yes, you are.
It's
Shelby's like, is she? I don't know.
I'm a fan of Taylor Swift, but I didn't know she was a cat
There's
person.
a line, yeah.
So that makes sense that it's Meow at the park.
That is
Taylor
hilarious.
Swift. So I've never seen that before. That's brilliant marketing.
Felines in the outfield. I don't know.
That's Friday night. Saturday is Bark at the Park, and then Sunday is Dads and Daughters Day. So
cute.
Fun weekend and a really big weekend.
Huge.
You need to win the series, in my opinion. They know that. That's not putting pressure on them. If they want to make the postseason, this is a big one. Take advantage of it. Depending on where you look, Kansas is ranked, or they're on the precipice of being ranked. Softball America has them as number 21 in the country this week. I think NCAA rankings have them right outside the top 25, but they're in the Big 12. They're a really good team. They're in the upper part of the conference standings. And they're coming off a sweep of Iowa State. So if you are in Lubbock, please get out there. Hopefully it'll be good weather for y'all and help them get this win, because to briefly segue over into why it matters is if they do want to make the postseason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at it realistically, this is a big series. It's not a must win mathematically, but if we're looking at it realistically, you need to win the series. Now, you sweep, you're in a good spot, but just it's hard for us to sweep because of our pitching depth issues. But if you can win 2 of 3, you're really in a good spot moving forward. But you can go look at this article. So we had a number of people have asked, like, what are the odds they can make it? We get that every week on the live show, and so I said, fine, guys, I'll go look. I'll go become a softball.
Hold my beer, watch this.
And just kind of looked into it a little bit. There's a whole article on our website if you want kind of more in depth on it. But essentially, y'all, we're 22-12 right now overall, and 4-8 in conference. The Big 12 is, I mean, I'm talking stacked. If you're not aware, some people learned. Someone commented on the article online, like, had no idea that that Big 12 softball was so obscene.
Elite.
And I was like, yeah, sir.
In fuego. Give us the break somewhere.
3 of the top 5 teams in the country. I think Texas just moved to number 1 because they beat number 1 Oklahoma this weekend.
Oh my God, that was such a wicked...
Texas is number 1 now. OU is number 2, and Oklahoma State is number 4 or number 5. 3 of the top 5 teams in the league. I mean, in the country or in this league, in this conference. It's stupid. So, you can have a less than stellar looking conference record in the Big 12 and still be one of the best teams in the country and make the tournament, because this is arguably the best conference in the country. And so every game you play is hard. And we just learned that with Baylor. So we're at 4-8. We have 12 games to go, assuming the Iowa State series is not rescheduled. And just looking at past numbers, I think if we get to 8 wins, there's a world in which you get to 7, but 8 wins, with our RPI where it is now and where it should be in that world, if we get 8 wins, I think that should be enough to get them in. We don't have the name brand behind us, but if they're going by by past precedent. In that article, I talk about SEC Missouri last year was 7-17 in conference play, but had a 38 overall RPI because the SEC is really solid as well. And then similar in the sense that, yeah, it's just a dogfight in the conference play. That's actually a less than we would be at 8-16 in that world if we get to 8 wins with about probably a similar or better RPI. And they got in last year. I think there's even less mid-major pressure this year about like kind of taking away spots. They'll get their conference wins, but there's not like a lot high up in the rankings that'll get at larges. So yeah, it's very much on the table. It's very much on the table. Yeah. But it starts this weekend, and I put in there, I think they need to get that. Listen, if we're saying worst case scenario, you probably lose 6 of those games because they're against number 1 now, Texas, and number 2,
right,
or number 4, Oklahoma State. If you steal one of those, you're in good shape. But even if you lose all 6 of those, you need 4 from Kansas and Houston, 4 out of 6. Say 2-2, or I mean, if you don't win this series, then you got to sweep Houston kind of thing later in the season. So that's how I look at it. I'm not a softball bracketologist by any means, but
sure?
Asked, and so I looked. Hey, I mean, I'll go look into anything.
That's true.
That's freaking journalism. I'll go look it up, but I don't pretend to like predict the softball landscape. But I just basically looked at like past precedent, and the past precedent is 1,000% there, as we've kind of been being told all year that they're in it, but dropping some to UCF, and then and really the UCF one's the one that kind of burn you a little bit, but not being able to get the one at Baylor either. But it's not like it ends it. That just would have made you feel more comfortable. Now you have work to do, and you just go at it. I think I said in there, like, these seniors deserve it. That's why I want it so bad for them. It's very easy for us, like, as fans, to be like, yeah, the future's bright. Let's just enjoy the ride and bop along the fun of it. But then I start to think about the 10 seniors, and I'm like, outside of Pecan, who has said maybe she's trying to go play for the Mexican national team, I think everyone's done with softball after this. Yeah. Like, you're like, no, I'm going to be greedy. I want them to make it. They deserve it. But as I said in the article, you don't always get what you deserve. But the good thing is,
tough news.
They can go out and take it, though. They don't need anyone to hand it to them.
That's true.
They can go take this
Go
shit.
get it.
If they want it, they can go take it. They just got to lock in and do it. And they can do it. They've played with Florida State. They've played with all these good teams. So depth is what it is on the pitching side, but they're very capable. I mean, they're one of the best offensive teams in the conference. We just got to figure it out more consistently. So I'll be there watching them. Go there if you're in person in Lubbock. Support them. And if you want more info on the postseason stuff, there is an article on our website that kind of breaks it down more. But it's in sight. It's more than in sight. They're in the conversation, as they've been trying to do all year, for sure.
That's right. Yeah, seeing-scarlet.com.
That's true.
Make sure y'all head over there. Yeah, so you have 3 opportunities to see them: April 12th, 13th, 14th. The 12th is at 6 p.m. Saturday's at 4 p.m. That's so nice. And then Sunday at noon. So get there. And that's what we got for softball. Let's shift over to baseball.
Yeah, baseball. They swept. They did the dang thing this past week. They had Stanford, who isn't.
Oh my gosh, that was a nuts. Yeah,
that was a great. All of their games have been.
Sorry, I just had a flashback. I was like, that was nuts.
Not a lot of pitching in any of their 5 games, but they found a way to get it done. Stanford's not the Stanford of old. Of past seasons, but they needed to win those 2 games, and they did in some wild ones. And to be fair, they were handling both those games, and then they kind of started putting in other people on the mound late in games, and they don't seem to have very many arms available that can really hold it together right now. They're still working through that and made it a little closer than it was. But they got the win again, and they swept a Houston team that you needed to sweep, to be frank. And I think it's their first Big 12 sweep since like 2022. So good vibes all around. It's not easy to sweep in baseball either, and they found a way to do it no matter who the opponent is, and now they've gone 5-0 this week. So
huge. That
was really cool, but also really cool, and even more cool. And the biggest win of the weekends was this. Brady Trimbello, who we talked about back in February, having a really, really scary accident, getting hit with a pitch, and he was back in Danlaw for the first time since then, being honored by the team.
Nice.
I don't know, the first time for a game. He's probably been back to visit his teammates,
Sure,
but that's how
sure.
they described it. So
Celebrate him.
that was really cool.
Yeah,
cool moment.
yeah. Good to see that. Yeah, he came back from a really scary time. So yeah, glad to see that he's getting that support and recognition of a recovery, a speedy recovery. It seems too. So hope things are continuing to go really well for him. But yeah, that's awesome. Awesome for the baseball program all around. Did they play Stanford earlier this season, or was it just like a 2-game series?
It was a 2-game series, 2-game
Mm.
midweek. So we went there last year
Oh,
and
that's
played
right.
them for 2
Okay.
games in Palo
I was like,
Alto,
I feel like
and then they came to Lubbock this year. So it's
Got
just
it.
a home and home, but they're not as
Cool.
good as they normally are. But it's still freaking Stanford. They still have good players, so it's a good. We'll take the wins where we can get
Good
them.
competition. Yeah.
And
good
most
for
of all,
us.
it's momentum because, as we know in baseball, softball, it's 90% mental. So to get a little momentum on your side and some confidence under the belt should do them good as they head
Yeah.
forward. So get out to those games next time they're in town as well and keep supporting them. So we're into the thick of it now. It's Tim Tadlock time as we get into April and May. It's when
Triple T.
Yeah, it's when can he get the most out of a team? We'll find out this year. It would be some of his best work, it seems, from a pitching staff standpoint, if they can get it done. They're figuring it out there.
Cool.
But so is everybody else. So we saw with those scores. It wasn't
That's all
just
we're
us.
ever trying to do.
There's
Cool.
a lot of runs being put up.
Sweet. Well, let's keep moving forward and talk about the season that never sleeps. Just kidding. Some basketball updates. Portals open. We've seen some from our team hit the portal, and so it makes us think who's coming in. So Shelby, hit it, gal. She's like,
I don't
let me
have
look at my crystal ball.
I don't have any major notes on the portal other than we'll keep an eye on it and maybe stay tuned to seeing-scarlet.com later in this week for some recruiting news. Is all I'll say there. Wink, wink.
Oh.
Nudge, nudge.
Oh.
But the team is working. The staff is working. Don't worry there. Things are happening. And we did an article on some potential targets.
Yep.
You can look at those, and some big names have hit in the last couple of days. I'm sure I'll do an update next week. If we're not busy doing more exciting articles, we'll see. But on some targets that we could go after, just off the top, like Tamia Gardner from Oregon State hit, which I really feel bad for Oregon State. All their players are hitting the portal, but that's
tough.
just they don't have a conference, so I feel bad for them. So she was a big one. Taylor Bigby hit, who's a former 5-star who's been on campus before a couple of years ago. Was when she was transferring originally, ended up choosing USC, but she's back in the portal. There's some names out there that I have an eye on just for fun. But again, the team is working. Keep your eye out for some news on that coming up in a few days. But don't worry, fun times ahead there on the women's basketball side. And there's been some recruits on campus, I believe, this week, or is going to be some for men's basketball, and they're working as well. I don't think anything new has happened as far as players entering the portal for either team since we last spoke. Devin Cambridge came back. Did we talk about that, or was that last week?
I don't think we did, but yeah, I saw that.
So, yeah, he went in the 180. Portal, and he decided to come back out of the portal. It happens, or he never put his name in the portal. He was gonna. I don't know what happened. But anyway, it's the world we're in, and that's why you don't go talking shit about a college kid online just because they make a life decision, because he will come back.
Never. There's never a reason to. But this is a good example.
Like, a lot of people were quick deleting tweets when that happened. So that was a big get for him, for Grant to keep him around, and now they can get to work, and they seem to be in on a lot of people as well. So just stay tuned on all those things. All I can say is both sides are working. We're not people to break news until everyone is okay with that news to be out there. That's not our place to do that. So stay tuned, and you'll see things moving along there. For portal news on the other end of it, Ashley Chevalier, who we talked about, who entered before, announced today she's going to Houston. So we kind of predicted that on our show. I just had a feeling that the minimal amount we've gotten to know Ashley from interviewing her and just watching her play, my read was on her. She's a competitor. She wants to play.
Yeah.
Not that she wants to get back at Texas Tech or Texas, but like she wants to to be in this conference was my gut feeling, and so where she ended up at Houston, which should be a good fit for her. I'm assuming they have the same coach. I don't know if they made a change, but they like to press. They're a defensive-minded team. They're also losing 8 or 10 seniors, so they're in a rebuild. And she should have the opportunity.
That's a role,
right there for her to take it and seize it. So we'll watch her. I hope the best for her, all except for 2 games of the season, maybe 2 or 3 games for the season. We'll just pretend like we don't see you.
We're chill, but
we'll just
we're not chill.
Enemies.
We're chill,
enemies,
but don't.
No,
that'll be
happens.
fun to see.
It's sports, whatever. We move on from it. So there's that. And then as for our current players, they keep getting accolades. Everyone wants to talk about portal players. Everyone gets excited about transfers and all the new additions. But y'all, we got a couple studs on our team already. Let's not forget about them. We got little Jasmine Shavers and Bailey Maupin, who, again, if we ever do that recap on the season, we can go into it more, but they were the leading sophomore scorers in the entire Big 12. 1-2. Jasmine Shavers, Bailey Maupin, 1-2. Leading scorers as for sophomores in the entire conference. When you break it down between freshmen and sophomores, so you just want to say best young players overall, they were both in the top 5 of scoring in the Big 12. You know, Madison Booker and Audie Crooks exist in that, right? They were in the top 5 with those players, All-American players. They were also just recently named to Dave Campbell's All-Texas Postseason teams.
Let's go.
So I believe maybe Bailey was 3rd team and Jazzy was either 3rd team or all honorable mention.
Let's go.
But that's big time.
That's huge.
So that just shows you how the talent is there. They're just missing a couple of pieces, but they're no longer youngins. We can't give them that grace anymore. Next year they're veterans, but I gotta believe they're already taking over that leadership role right now and putting their stamp on this team on the offseason, because that starts now. But they're veterans now. They're juniors next year. But they're 2 of the best guard duo in the country if you really look at the numbers. So that was cool to see them get their shine and get their deserved accolades. Next year, those accolades are going to be much bigger. We're going to talk I think they maybe both got honorable mention in the Big 12 this year. Next year, they're going to be on the Big 12 team and more 100. So shout out them. Good stuff.
That's huge. Well, I mean, the season not ending up, we've talked about that and have, I think, processed and mourned, and, we have no choice but to continue to think about what's next in some ways. So it's really cool to take a second and reflect back on that, and for them to be recognized, because those 2 are just, when they're on fire, and it was in the stats the whole time, but we had bigger challenges in our way. So yeah, good to see a little bit late in the game like that. That's a nice April treat. So shout out huge to Jazzy and Bailey. Cool. Any other notes on
just some fun notes on, speaking of Jazzy, go look at their adorable little pictures they posted. Jasmine Shavers and Jada went and read. I think one of the students reached out to either or of those players and said, "Hey, will you come read to my class?" And of course they're just like great human beings. They're like, "I'm in." And
as a little kid.
They went and read to these little kids and someone then replied to our post about it saying that my daughter's in that class. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, no way.
So that's the cool stuff. That's what it's all about, right? We talk about basketball, but that's what it's all about, is making the impacts on these kids and using your platform for good, and they're doing that. So I love that from them.
Yeah, it's good to see. Makes us even more proud. And for those little kids to understand too, they're like, this is a big deal. And we're all like, yeah, you get it. It is a big deal. So yeah, that's huge. Yeah. Anything else?
Last, I said I'll recruiting some maybe some news coming at the end of the week. We'll see. But some news we can share is two targets that we have in the JUCO ranks. One is a freshman, mind you. So again, that's a decision for her to make. Is she going to be a next year player? Or is she a class of 25 player? That's still in the works. And she's being, this is Panya Davis from New Mexico Junior College 6'6" center. We have articles on her on our website. Check it out if you want more info on her. She's been chased by a lot of big schools. One of them offered her. She was just named a second team JUCO All-American today that came out. Dang. And she's one of only 3 freshmen on either of those teams.
Dang.
So 20 people named, I think, and she's one of 3. as a freshman. So
Go
really
off
impressive
then.
from her.
Yeah.
That's someone we're after. She has a lot of people after her, but we'll see if we can work our magic there. And another one, Ivana Krajina. We talked about point guard, 5'11" point guard. She
So smooth.
was first team All-American. Had herself a damn year for Odessa
She
College.
should.
We've talked a lot about her. Really exciting player. We'll hopefully be talking
Fun to watch. Yeah.
Talking more about her soon for y'all. Stay tuned. And she is a fun player that she has a lot of people after her, as well as it seems like, I'm sure, All-American player. Averaged 18 points a game, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, couple steals a game. They play a very similar. Theirs is more about creating chaos. I think I watched a couple other games and they break out 2 chaos. They're like chaos on 3, 1, 2, 3. They're leaving the bench, like that's their motto, and they press the whole game. So that stuff isn't gonna affect her. She's ready to do that, and she'd fit in. And she's a good all around fundamental player. So. Those are 2 targets that we have, and they today got named Juke All-American. Y'all heard us talk about them, so figured I'd update you that they're still getting their shine, and hopefully we'll have more info soon.
Cool.
On if they come to come check things out and all that. So yeah, that's where we're at with basketball on Lady Raider side. It's heating up now. Season's over. Dead period's over.
That's what I'm saying. God.
There's a dead period during the Final Four every year anyway, so they couldn't really do much recruiting the last few days anyway.
So they can just watch basketball, like.
Well, they can recruit social media interactions.
Oh my gosh.
They can't have any in-person interactions. I'm assuming that so there's no unfair advantage for like running into recruits at the Final Four kind of thing, or like inviting them to the Final Four. I don't know but it's always during the Final Four. There's a dead period.
Yeah.
So it might just be so that the coaches can just go.
Maybe it's like the holiday season for coaching. You get your holiday off.
Well, because you go to the Final Four, it's a big networking event for especially the assistant coaches and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of conferences. It's a chance for them to network and get jobs and all that.
And what a cool celebration.
So if you're having to recruit and back in like hosting that might be part of it as well. But at any rate, they couldn't have any visits over the last week or so because of that. It's go time now over the next few weeks. So 3 more weeks till the portal closes. Everyone keep praying on that.
Yes.
Right, last thing we've heard, it's out there in the news. Everyone on this team said they're coming back. They've said that. That's what they said to Gerlich. They said it to their teammates, but
my first sigh of relief.
Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago when that was out in an article, but so I love that, but
I love that.
I've lived a life, so 3 weeks, we'll see. But I'm excited if that's true and that holds, and they're going after some fun targets, and we'll talk about more when that stuff can be talked about. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
Love it. Well, that's basketball corner with Shelby.
You take over soccer.
I'll take.
How's US doing right now?
Dude, I don't want to look and nobody tell me, but I feel like if anybody's in the chat, they're gonna freaking tell me now. But when I last left the women's national team, they were tied 1-1.
Is that hard? Is that a hard result for you to accept?
Yes.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
I don't know if you picked up on my.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I trust. Oh my gosh, do y'all know like wing women that just like have your back? Shelby just had my back right there, and I appreciate it. And you're like, I have no idea, and you'll never get to know. It's just chemistry. Anyway, yeah, we got some soccer news, so let's talk about it. Sam Courtright continues to show up on the U20 roster, like she just kind of like appeared there. She's earning her spot, y'all, again and again. And they played against Germany, and she got to play the full 90 minutes. So not only is she on the roster, but she's in the matches representing her country. Again, like I'm on repeat now, but this is a great experience for Sam. The only problem I have is like I want to see her have more minutes, but sometimes you gotta acquiesce in their coaching philosophies.
Wow.
And that's what you gotta do sometimes. So that's what I had to say about that. But yeah, shout out to Sam for the brief periods that we are able to watch the games, because it's kind of tough watching you when you're traveling the globe. She's looking really good. She's playing in a position that we don't typically see her in, but making it her own. And we're seeing a little bit more and more of like, okay, there she is. We know the Sam Courtright, but
Let
we
her
know
free,
her in
let
a
her free. No.
yeah.
I'm like
So,
watching.
yeah.
I watched a little bit of the Germany game. Me,
Yeah.
non-soccer analyst, and I was like, okay, Sam's doing a good job, but somebody let her free. Me not knowing anything about the game, but being able to notice she was not playing attacking mid like she does for us, but she was still doing a good job, and she made her runs when she could. So it is cool to see her play.
Yeah, it's really
to
cool.
Be playing full 90s like she is really impressive.
That's right. And to even talk further about that soccer program. Such a cool year that we had last year. And so already getting excited for the incoming players that we have, and we'll continue to talk about them. But similar news with our incoming freshman, Grace Pilling, representing UEFA with U19. And they're in the qualifiers. Is that what's happening? I think, yeah. If I
for Wales.
For Wales, yeah. So international talent showing up. Really cool to see. I think keeper, which, man,
I got some talent in that room.
Yeah.
Good luck, coach. We know you're listening.
Good luck, Blair. I hope that they're able to
acquiesce.
Sometimes, yeah. If there has any hesitation, they can acquiesce in your coaching
decisions.
This is nonsense. Anyway, so that's what we got there. The spring soccer matches, which seem to always just sneak up on me, especially with the women's national team playing, and I'm like, what just happened? But the gals are taking care of business.
Yeah.
They went 4-0 in their spring season. So
yeah.
Getting
I remember, I mean, you obviously were living in Lubbock then, so but I remember you watched them last year and you were like, man, this team's good. You knew.
I know.
We don't get to watch them this year, but maybe they're I mean they got to be just as good because they got a lot of the same talent. We're obviously just missing those seniors, but
yeah.
We got to get, hey, coach, you listening? I'm going to ask this question. I'm just going to ask it. If you're listening, someone with soccer.
Shelby's going rogue, y'all. Hang on tight.
Elise Anderson, girl, are you returning?
Yeah, we need to know.
So we need the scoop on this.
Someone send us a bat signal.
She was honored. Yeah, if you could give us just
like
a
an
message,
E in the sky,
so Sibby can drop an article and hype the shit out of her on the. But she was a really key part of our team last year as a senior. Was honored
assist queen.
Yeah, I mean, just a cheetah out there, assist queen, whatever you want to call her. Was a huge part of the team to end the year once Macy went down, especially. But she was already like the first one off the bench, huge player for us.
Yeah,
as outside back.
We gotta know.
She was honored, but she's been with the team in every single picture and post, and I'm pretty
Shelby's
sure
like this.
She was in that picture of their game at Lamar. Like they traveled and she was there. So maybe she's just with them because she graduated.
Maybe she's just hanging out, Shelby.
I know she graduates. I know she graduates this May because they've talked about it, but. Grad school? What's up? I know
so
she has an extra.
There's a chance.
We said we're like, hey, Elise is the one that has an extra year. We said that during the year, like, come back. But it seemed like she was gone, but she's still there. So if anyone's listening, please confirm or deny, so we can just go ahead. Because that would be huge. Because obviously Macy Blackburn's coming back, and you have Kylie, but Macy's coming off an injury. Like to have that senior there with them as that third again, and then maybe Macy can take the off the bench role if she's on limited minutes, and Elise can start.
Say less.
I'm not a soccer analyst, but I'm just thinking over
Why
here.
Why do you even bother saying that anymore? She goes, I'm not a soccer analyst, but listen to all this.
After I was able to identify that Sam Courtright was not playing attacking mid the other day, I felt so proud of myself.
You were so stoked. It was so cute.
I am now a baby soccer analyst because your girl is noticing.
Level up.
Noticing positions. So anyway, if anyone from soccer is listening, if you could just confirm or deny, because I've been patiently awaiting the news, and y'all just keep teasing us with pictures that she's in. So that would be great to know. Thank you. Anyway, continue.
We're gonna have such a logical answer to it, and we're gonna be so bummed.
They're gonna be like, she's just working out with the team until she graduates. All right.
Cool. Yeah, we'll continue to move forward, but stoked to see them getting some playing time during the spring, so it's not a total sideswipe when you get into the fall. So I love soccer, and it's an Olympic year, so that's really fun too. Lots of excitement around soccer. So if you're still kind of on the fence, now's the time to join. Lots of cool stuff happening. But you know what's not cool, dude? Injuries. And this one's for my girl, Kirsten Wright. An unfortunate injury. I don't know how much they have information wise. I just saw the scope news and that she's
yeah, so
out.
I don't think it's anything super serious, but
Okay.
you know, scope or it's usually just to go in there. As long as nothing's found on the scope, from what
That's
I know
true.
of that world, they're just going in and cleaning a few
Let's
things
go.
up and making sure it looks okay. But that's still, I mean, you cut yourself open, you got a few weeks to heal. So
It's a speedy recovery there.
Bummer.
That's what we have for injuries. And then yeah, when I last left off, Janine Becky, who just came back from an injury, full circle moment. Go check that out on our website as well. I wrote a little bit more about it, but she is in that championship game, that final game, in the She Believes Cup against the United States women's national team. She plays on Canada, and she looks really good. Like she looks really strong and sound. She's making the really cheeky passes. She's there for opportunities, so really stoked for her. And it's almost like I hate this, but like I hope you do well, but like don't beat us. But it's like with Ashley that we're gonna have to do when we play Houston. It's like you're having a great game, but can you stop having a great
can
game?
you not
But
right now?
keep being great. So, yeah, that's what we got for the soccer update.
Sweet.
Let's hit it with some track.
Yeah, let's zoom through the rest of these. We got track. So they had the big Texas relays the week before that we talked about.
Huge.
If you listen to our interview with Alyssa Colbert, you should go do that. It's a great interview.
A lot of fun.
Plug. She's awesome. We talked to her a bit about what's the difference in an Olympic year. Is there a difference? And she did say that they manage their legs and what they're doing and how many meets they do. And so you'll notice that some meets there's a large contingent of athletes going to it, like the Texas relays. That's a big meet. And others, I don't think as many competed this weekend, for instance, is what I'm getting at. But there still were a few that competed. And as a group, after this weekend, they jumped up to number 5 in the nation.
Let's
on the
go.
women's side, the women are ahead of the men all of a sudden.
Wow.
They were behind them last week. Now they jumped up to number 5 in the nation.
Let's go, girl.
Women's team, but the men are not that far behind. They're number 6. And so
right. Okay.
they're coming up. I think, I mean, May is when you should start getting into Big 12s and then nationals and all the jazz are coming up here end of the month into May. So good stuff for them. And then also Ruta Lasmain, our triple jumper that was the reigning national champion for the indoor in triple jump, was the Big 12 Women's Track Athlete of the Week for her performance down in Austin with a jump of 45 feet and 6 inches.
What in the world, dude?
Is absurd.
Even when Alyssa was talking to us, I was like, I just cannot compute this, but it's amazing. Really cool to see. And yeah, Alyssa talks about her too. So it all makes sense.
Yep.
All correct. Well, cool.
What do you got?
We got volleyball, y'all. We've seen some bits and pieces. They've also been playing a little bit of some spring action, springing into actions. But also to get us hyped for their 2024 schedule, they dropped their schedule. Was that today? No, that was like a few days ago.
Yesterday.
Okay, well, I'm looking at their Twitter. That was the only place I could find it. But that's really cool to see all the different opponents. And I think we talked to, maybe it was Brent, about like the schedule conference realignment. I think that was around the time that we did talk to them. It was like all of that was happening. And so seeing different competition on their schedule, it's like, oh, this is going to be cool.
It's weird to see the Pac-12 teams on there.
I know. It's like, who invited you? And it's like, shoot, we did.
We did.
Damn. That makes sense. Get in here. But yeah, really stoked for them.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Also, go check out Hannah Bohr Twitter. She's trying to get Raising Cane's to give her an NIL deal, and y'all need to go tag Raising Cane's, retweet her posts, because I've never seen a bigger fan of Raising Cane's than this girl. She's talked about it at every moment of her Texas Tech existence since coming here.
You're kidding.
And in her, I mean, this is not the first time I've heard it. She talked about it when she came here. She's mentioned it every time. Anyway, it's there. And then they put out there, why did you choose Texas Tech graphic for her the other day? And in it says all the normal stuff like, love the staff, love the facilities, the fans, blah, 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 blah. And then it says, it didn't hurt that Raising Cane's was right across the street from campus.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at her Twitter
Obsessed.
right now.
She's
and
obsessed, and she's trying to get a partnership with Raising Cane's, and they partner a lot of Texas Tech athletes. So why not add another one?
What in the heckarooski? Because that made me just want to go get some canes. See, Cane's return on investment just now.
We just gave you a free plug on our show, Raising Cane's.
God,
That's
let's go into-
valuable airtime, all in the name of Hannah. So
Gotta go
if you
into-
sponsor her, we'll do it more.
Okay, well, and then throw us a tender too.
Yeah,
I was gonna say bone, but
every once in a
tender.
while, sure.
Anyway, well, that's dope.
Dog bone.
Good for them. And then closing it out with some tennis.
Women's tennis. Yeah, so they had won 6 in a row, but this was a one of those weeks that was going to be tough on paper, and they fought through it, but they dropped both matches with number 8 Texas in Austin and the number 23 OU on the road as well. But because it's such good teams, they didn't really move much in the rankings. I think they dropped 1 spot from 26 to 27. So they kind of just have been staying in that same place all year. I actually did turn on some of the Texas match. I don't remember what day that was, but I was working when it was on, and I turned it on to watch, and
Cool.
probably the most tennis I've watched in a minute. But when I turned it on, we were down in like every single match. We had already lost. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God, this is not looking good. We already lost the doubles match, and we ended up losing like 4-0, I think. But I learned the rules of tennis as I'm watching it in college tennis and how to work, and I was actually impressed. We were fighting back in a lot of them, but once you lose a set, it's like you really got to get back into it. And then we had a couple of them that we were winning in, but because the other 3 finished before those were finished, it says 4-0 on the scoreboard because once you get to 4 points, it's over.
Right.
But we were gonna get a couple of points in it. We just didn't finish those games in time. So I was impressed. I thought Christina Tiglia, who's gotten a couple of Player of the Week awards, I finally got to watch her play, and she's a problem. So I get it. She was down big when I turned it on, and she just like weaseled her way back into that match. And she's one of those that she would have won her game. But it was such a long game because she got behind and they kind of had to fight back and had a long one that it didn't count because it didn't finish before the whole thing. Basically how it works in tennis, if you ever want to watch, it's actually quite entertaining. I learned this. So in college tennis, right? Maybe we'll do an article. I was going to do an article this week on them, and then they lost 2 matches. I was like, this is probably not the time.
Yeah. Read the room, Shelby.
So maybe they have senior day coming up, so we'll do it then. But if you want to watch them, they have a couple matches coming up. This week is the last time you can catch them. Is Thursday at 5 against West Virginia, and Saturday is senior day against Cincinnati. And so how it works in college tennis is you first 1 to 4 points wins. You get a point by winning doubles. So that's kind of like there's 3 doubles matches that happen, best 2 out of 3. That gives you 1 point towards the team total. And then the rest of those points come from singles. And so if you lose the doubles point, you got to win 4 out of 6 singles matches. But if you win the doubles point, you only got to win 3.
Oh, okay.
So it's heavy on the singles talent side, but having that 1 point can help you. So I thought that was cool. So you can watch it that way, and it just depends on if you win. And doubles is always first, and then they're all going on at the same time. There's 6 courts going all at the same time, and then it's just the first one to get to 4 points, and then they just call it. It's kind of cool to watch.
That's awesome. So, yeah. Cool.
But yeah, it's good stuff to watch. But shout out Mecca and Avi in the doubles against OU. They actually won their match against a top 20 opponent. So there were still some highs in this week for them, even though they didn't get it as a team done. Cool. But again, they were playing really good schools, so they only dropped 1 spot in the rankings. So nothing to hang your head out. And they have a chance to get right back on the winning track. And they would get to 10 wins in conference, which I would have to go look up the stats on that. That might be like one of their best finishes ever in conference. To win total, because I think 8 was already tied with their most wins, so that would make me think
lots of hype coming from them. Yeah,
if you win 1 more, that's the most. So
totally,
history could be made this weekend.
Good to see. Good to know. Good to see.
Him.
No kidding. Awesome. So yeah, there are only 2 more home matches. Thursday the 11th against West Virginia, and then the 13th.
Go watch some tennis and softball this weekend, y'all.
Get outside. Summer is here.
Orders. Tennis and softball.
Aye. But yeah. And then golf, dude. Are we just gonna talk about Ludwig probably until we're done?
Yeah, we can talk about Ludwig. I thought about showing his clip because that clip was great.
Do it. Yeah.
I don't
I'm saying
have
like
it. I don't
he's
have
got
it,
so
though.
much hype. Oh, okay.
But go find it. We posted it. But yeah, Ludwig, who at Aberg Ludwig, who is a Texas Tech alum, obviously is one of the top players on the PGA Tour right now. There's this clip that went viral of him hitting like a on the green drive from the tee box while losing the driver head. It went viral, so we posted it on our page if you want to go look at it. That's what she's talking about. But big claps for him. Good stuff.
Huge.
And so the men are actually competing right now. The women had a tournament going on today, had match play with OU. I believe they finished third. They dropped their first place matchup or whatever with their semifinal matchup, I guess is what it would be with OU. So they were fighting for third when we were getting ready to start the show or earlier today. So they're having a solid season. They're getting ready for Big 12s, just getting back in the swing of things. But we've every once in a while showed like content of the week, and both times that we've done it, it's been golf. Last time it was women's golf. But
So good. So funny.
Yeah, so funny. And this one's not much. This one's not so much on the funny side. And I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing because it's pretty long, but who cares? Everyone sit back and grab some snacks. I thought this was really cool. I'm not a golfer, but at first I thought because I just assumed it was going to be funny. And so the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, is this a parody? Like, are they going to make a joke?
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, no, this is just like truly a behind the scenes moment between the golf coach at Texas Tech with one of his golfers, his student athletes, talking about the approach to what they're going to do on this hole. I just thought it was like so cool to get that behind. You don't get to see that. Not like this open conversation.
Yeah, so. Play some of it at least.
203 on the laser.
Oh, cool. 203. And like this is the part of golf that I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing out here, but I'm gonna hit the shit out of this ball, and sometimes it goes perfect, and sometimes it doesn't.
Right here, east is a little left to right.
Oh, that's so cool. And you know, I wonder. I feel like Texas Tech golfers or like Lubbock golfers have to be some of the best with our wind. Like they've got to know how to play some really tough conditions.
Yeah, they're prepared for pretty much anything.
It's really cool. You got it.
Callum's 4 was flighted and flew to the bag hit, so I think that's perfect.
Strategy talk.
I'm gonna have to try and step on it.
No. Right?
On 18?
Yeah, on 18. I think it's just.
Yeah. Okay. Are we gonna watch this whole thing?
I'm just skipping through it.
Yeah, from there.
Case, like,
Yeah, because you're not getting hurt on the second shot.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's like golf ASMR, if anything.
Yeah, like
clubs.
It's just like interesting to see them do their thing.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Cool insight. You don't get to see that very often, especially about sports like that. Like what's really because I think some people just think it's exactly like what you said. Like, yeah, just go out there and hit it as far as you can. Like,
right. There's a whole ass strategy.
Like they're using freaking lasers and picking clubs and stuff. So I just appreciate when our athletic programs gives us that behind the scenes look. So thought I'd give you
really cool.
So that's what I got. But
cool.
That's all we have. If you want to wrap it up, let the people do the thing. Go to softball this weekend, tennis. Do it. Be there.
Do the thing. Shelby said. But yeah, take a look at our website, social media, subscribe, however you listen, follow, do all that good stuff. And yeah, until next time, Red Raiders, wreck 'em.
Wreck 'em.